Klobuchar.
Thank you all for coming this afternoon. We're so happy that Senator Klobuchar was able to come to DFL headquarters here in Bemidji. Now, they didn't want me to say anything today.
I wonder why.
Well, it's going to carry on a long time, but I was hoping you had your coat on so I could see how long her coattails were. I think it's more like a bike rally, and we're all going to get behind a draft. When you're carrying us across the victory line in less than a week now.
Woo!
Well, thanks for coming to Bemidji, and good to see you. And we're looking for lots of Democrats to get out and vote on November 6th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for being here. Thank you all for being here, for all your volunteer work. We got a few days left. Let's give it heck. Let's get it done. We're going to win this thing. We're going to win it around the state. And now let me ask Senator Tom Saxhaug to say a few words. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here, Amy. I just want to tell you that this is a great group of volunteers that we have, and they've done yeoman work, and we're hoping to get one more shot out of them. Yes, just to push us over the.
I'll have a lot more to say in 2 years. So.
It was just so much fun to come here. You have to understand, I was with Bill Clinton in Duluth, right? Saxhaug. I gotta leave the president to come here. But anyway, so we're very excited to be here. We did a trip up to Cass Lake, and there was a little haunted house there for Head Start we visited, and I'm just trying to get all around the state because I truly believe when you look at these candidates and the importance of the legislature this year, Rod and Tom are old hands in a very good way. They have been there. They understand what it means to represent Greater Minnesota. They understand the struggles of the people up here, but also how you have to have people that really stand up tall for this area and this county and this town. Because there are so many unique issues up here, and it's so good they're both on natural resources and ag, and that they can really fight for everything from forestry to tourism to the unique economic issues up here. And it's really been an honor for me to represent this area, especially with working with Bemidji State and a lot of the college issues, and that's been a lot of fun because I've been so proud of the work that's gone here. We actually brought some of our campaign staff, and Sarah, who's from Washington, D.C., you can kind of tell from her boots. They're not Minnesota boots, okay? But what did you get to see for the first time today?
Save the blue eye.
We are spreading the culture around. Now, Lyndon's an old hand. He's from Hibbing. Becky's dad is a dentist in Hibbing. Does that sound familiar?
I agree.
But it's just great to be here with them, and then also to be here for John and for Roger on their candidacies. I love the backgrounds of all our candidates. They're real people. They're teachers, they're veterans, they are people that have really know what it's like to work. And be able to bring that kind of experience to St. Paul is incredibly important. I am feeling good about what's going on in our state in this campaign. We are incredibly organized. We're very coordinated. We're starting a big bus tour all across the state for the legislative candidates. We're working to defeat the amendments, of course. On behalf of Rick Nolan, he was in Duluth with the president, and Colin Peterson on the other side, and he's doing well. I think we all know that. I was last with him in the Barnesville Potato Days Parade. It went quite well. So we're really working as a team all across the state, and I think that's the great thing about the Democratic Party right now. We're a big tent, and we really are. We have people all the way from Colin Peterson to Keith Ellison, and we work together, right, as a team. We know that everyone brings their strengths. They may not agree on every single issue. That's not what you're seeing on the state level or on the federal level on the other side. They literally have been pushing people out of their party who don't share their own vision, and that really concerns me in terms of the politics. The other thing that concerns me is all this huge money that is coming in from these super PACs. And I've gotten to the point where I think that not only do we have to pass the Disclose Act, so we can at least find out who these billionaires are that are writing these $10 million checks that are trying to change elections, but we actually are going to have to pass a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. The other thing that's exciting about what's going on the state and national level, when you get around Minnesota like I do, there's been a sea change the last few years. And there's been much more value put on jobs in America and things that are made in America. It is not just politicians talking anymore. It's not just activists talking. People actually are looking for things that are made in America. You look at our agriculture exports, they're up something like $20 billion in our state. It's been a real boon to our economy. Our unemployment rate, especially in northern Minnesota, is not where we want it to be, but there's been some great improvements over the last few years. We have a situation with tourism where we're finally starting to see some gains so important to the Bemidji area and this county. We worked hard on every issue. No issue is too small for me, you know, fishing guide issues, crossing over to Canada if you have a DWI. I take it all on, man. I am the only senator to ever talk to the Prime Minister of Canada about the DWI. Economy. And to me, this idea that for the last decade there were certain people out in Washington, out in New York, that thought our economy could just revolve around churning money on Wall Street and shuffling paper. It didn't work very well. Instead, we have to be a country that makes stuff again, that invents things, that exports to the world. That is how we're going to move ahead. And this means, number one, and you know about this right here in Bemidji, making sure that we have an education system, K through 12, of course, and that's a lot of work that goes on in the state legislature where you need to bring these guys back there, but also at that post-secondary level to make sure that we are having kids get the 4-year degrees that they need, but also the 1 and 2 years degrees for the jobs that are open right now. Bemidji State's always done a good job of being pragmatic about those kinds of programs that we need for the jobs that we have today and tomorrow. When you look at it right now, 70% of the jobs in Minnesota in the next 5 years, the new jobs, are going to require some kind of post-secondary education. Half of them will be 4-year, half of them will be 1 and 2-year degrees. We're one of the higher-end states for requiring that kind of post-secondary, and that's why the program up here is so important. You're smart about foreign tourism and how much we've lost since 9/11. 16% of the international tourism market, not because the economy. We lost it to places like France and England and Indonesia because it was easier to get the visas. Not different security measures, just went quicker. So we're changing that now, and if we gain just 1 point of that market, it's 160,000 jobs in this country because those jobs are here. So that's my subcommittee. I care a lot about it. Now, where else do we go from here? Well, we have an election coming up, and one of my favorite moments in the Democratic Convention was when Bill Clinton looked at the crowd and he said, you know what, people ask me how do I get these surpluses, and he said it's not that hard. You know what it is? It's arithmetic. That's what he said. Well, I would say it's arithmetic for bringing down our debt, which is very important to me, and it has to be done in a balanced way, but it's also arithmetic in terms of how we win this election. It is actually, as you all know that have done this before, it is getting out those numbers, getting out those votes. We literally lost 1 seat in the state legislature last time by 13 votes. I think that's right. I mean, that's how close some of these races are. Ask Al. He can come into a room like this and say, if it wasn't for you, I really wouldn't have won. He was so close, and I can't say that. But he can say that. He can say that. And so every single vote counts. And believe it or not, I actually was once in a very close race for Hennepin County Attorney. My first race was a woman running against me, literally had 3 times the amount of money. She was running ads in a county attorney's race on network TV. Well, I did 3,000 lawn signs. I did 30 parades, and I did 85 pancake breakfasts. And I won by less than 2 votes per precinct. In fact, my mom the next morning was at the campaign headquarters, and CCO radio called and said, did she win? My mom doesn't know if she's on the air. She goes, we have absolutely no idea. find out until 2 o'clock that day, but to this day, I think if I'd only done 75 pancake breakfasts instead of 85, I wouldn't have won. And so every single door matters, every single vote matters, every single call matters. And I'll just end with this. This last week was the sad 10-year anniversary of Paul and Sheila's death. And I had the honor to be in Evelyn with a bunch of their friends at the crash site. And of course, it's a beautiful memorial now. And it was snowing that day, and it was the snow, the entire ceremony, an hour-long ceremony. It's just regular people talking that knew them, and the snow is coming down. And there was this baby all wrapped up. You can even see the baby's face. Baby starts to cry, and I go over there. Well, you remember the youngest person that was killed in that horrible crash was a young kid, college kid, about, I think 21 years old, named Will McLaughlin, handsome young guy, the big smile. Well, that's his brother's kid, and a brand new baby, and they named the baby Will McLaughlin after him. And so I thought, as I'm standing there in this beautiful silent snow, just about the legacy living on. And when you think about Paul, how much he loved northern Minnesota, you all know that, and how in the early days when he'd campaign, he'd run back and forth and shake everyone's hand, right? But that last summer, he had been diagnosed with MS. He couldn't do that anymore, and so he would just stand on the back of the bus with Sheila and wave. But you really didn't notice he was just standing because he had energized so many people in those green shirts, and they would run around and around and around that bus, like 100 people, and it had this sense of motion and optimism and energy that you didn't even notice that he was just standing. Well, that's what you've got to do for these guys, right, in this next week. You've got to bring them that energy and be the ones doing it. They have done everything they can. I can't imagine how hard it is to knock on doors around here. Like, they're far apart. Okay? They're far apart. It's not the friendly. People are friendly. It's just there's a lot of far apart doors. And so you have to do that. There's a lot of very, very diverse issues up here that they have to be knowledgeable about, answer people's questions. The economy hasn't been easy, and they have to do a lot of hard work in terms of getting people out and getting people inspired to vote. Well, that's your job now too, and you have to energize them just like those people running around the bus. And I have a feeling you can do it because this is an area where people still believe in government, people still believe that we can get things done, and people still believe that we can win elections the right way. And I don't care how many super PACs that they have, we have in this room super volunteers, okay? Costumes when you do it, I don't care. Just go out and get the votes and we'll be celebrating on Tuesday night. Thanks, everybody.
There you have it. Amy Klobuchar just gave a beautiful speech drumming up support for the DFL, stomping the ground and getting the troops ready for November 6th, where it might work well for these people. It feels pretty good in the room right now. Man, she really spoke wonderfully, didn't she? Right? Isn't that beautiful? Now we're here behind Lakeland Television as usual, with Jamil Donath trying to get in front of me.